Being raised an only child and living alone since I was 18, I had developed this habit that when I wasn't okay, when I was sad, I would go and isolate myself. I would talk myself through it. I would rock myself to sleep. I would do whatever it took to take care of myself. That's also a big part of what led me to eating. That was part of the way that I would comfort myself alone. And clearly, part of the reason why I made it to 400 pounds is there was a lot that was going on, a lot that led me to eat literally my emotions. And I would do this and to the point that I couldn't take it anymore. And then I would break, literally break. I would either break in the arms of my mom or my dad, and I would just cry, an uncontrollable cry. And that's when you knew I can't take it anymore. But I'm learning that's not healthy. I'm learning it's better to let it out however you choose to do it, whether it's verbally, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's artistically, however you choose to let it out, you got to let it out. And I was reminded of that today by Julie. I put up a post today, being December 26th, because today's my dad's birthday. But like a month, there have been different events that have happened throughout the month of December that make this the hardest month for me. And you could be sitting right next to me and not even know what it is that I'm going through, which I think is what a lot of us do. We hold our feelings inside. But I think it's time I let this out. Not to eat it, not to eat my feelings, not to suppress my feelings, but to genuinely let them out. That, though, requires me to be vulnerable. That, though, requires me to tap into a side that I normally suppress. That, though, is going to make me cry. So, here we go. December 3rd. Probably the hardest day, December 3rd, 2021. That was the day that I walked away from my aunt. I said goodbye to my dying aunt. See, I was no stranger to death at this point. My mom had already passed in September 2020, the year prior. My dad had passed in September 2012. My grandfather had passed May 2009, and my grandmother had passed December 2008. I can't tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I can tell you those dates. I can tell you those months. And I remember them every year. But December 3rd, in order for you to understand the significance of December 3rd, kind of have to start this story a little bit earlier in 2021, maybe even back to 2020. See, I had gone through a full year, a full, really tough year. And I thought that roller coaster was over come October, October 2021. I thought the roller coaster was done, that my mother had passed in the 2020. I had to declutter her home of 52 years in less than 2 weeks, going through the house that I was raised in, the house that I was born in, and going through a 4-bedroom house. And emotionally how taxing that was. Finding out that my aunt in Florida had cancer and not being able to get to her because of COVID and the border being closed. Then catching COVID. May 2021, I caught COVID. And I think that was the very first time in life that I like genuinely as an adult stuck up for myself. Like I stood up for myself and said, all these people that I have checking on me during COVID, when I had COVID, I was actually using my energy to appease other people. And I knew this was something that was literally taking people's lives. And so I had a decision to make, a really tough one, to either continue to appease everybody and comfort everybody else and let them know that I was okay. I mean, people were texting me all day long. And it got to the point that it was triggering my anxiety because if I wasn't responding quick enough, then people thought things were wrong. And I really had to tell everybody to go away, to leave me alone, and to trust that I was an adult. And that if I needed help, I would put my hand up and I would ask for it, but that I needed everybody to go away. And so for the very first time as an adult, I told everybody to go away. And that took a lot. So after I went through COVID, I realized everything that I had gone through, I needed to take some time off. I needed to take time off and work on me. And at that point, Indeed, where I worked, was providing a program where you could take up to 3 months off unpaid, regardless of the reason. And so I did. I took 3 months off and I worked on me. So I went on leave end of May, end of June, end of July, end of August. I was supposed to go back to work end of August. And before going back to work, that's when I decided in August, early August, to go on that solo trip to DR. So I go on the solo trip. I come back in mid-August, and I'm supposed to go back to work beginning of September, right? Let's see, September 16th, 2021 would have made 9 years that my dad had passed. And then September 21st would have made 1 year that my mom had passed. So it's 5 day difference in between the anniversaries of my parents' deaths. And I knew I was going to be grieving all week. It's still during COVID, so I would have been in the house by myself. Nobody could come over and console me. And so I had a decision to make again. Is that the smartest thing for me to be in the house by myself grieving? And I said no. I said, your best bet is to pick yourself up and go right back to DR. So that's how I ended up in DR August 2021 and then DR September 2021, less than a month later. We're right back. And so October 1st, as planned, I went back to work. And everything was supposed to be okay. I had taken that time to really kind of process and put myself in a healthy environment. I was getting sunlight, I was getting fresh foods, I was getting everything to just kind of balance out what it is that was going on. But then I got a phone call October 18th that changed everything. That phone call was from my aunt. And to know the relationship that I had with my aunt, I can't even describe it. But she called to say, please come to Florida now. I'm dying. So remember, I took 3 months off from work. And then I went back to work and said I wanted another month. Then I went back to work October. And now, like 2 weeks later, I gotta go again. And I said to work, I needed time off to be able to go to Florida to say goodbye to my aunt. And work initially said no. Sorry. Understandably so. I mean, look at all this time I had just taken off work. And so I was left with another decision to make. Was I going to stay at work and just say goodbye to my aunt over the phone? Or was I leaving? Because this is my aunt. And see, I don't know about you, but I missed the opportunity to say goodbye to my mom. You have no clue how fast I drove to that hospital trying to make it time. But I missed it. I was in the waiting room when my dad took his last breath. I missed that. I was upstairs sleeping when my grandfather took his last breath. I missed that. And I was on the road on the way to see my grandmother when she took hers. So here I am being presented with the opportunity to actually go and say goodbye. And work said, nope, no, you can't go this time. So I said, okay, that's the case. I quit effective immediately. And work said, hold on. Hold on a sec. It's October. So here what? We're going to approve a leave for you at the end of October. So you can leave as of October 26th. But you can't come back until January 3rd. So regardless of what happens in October, November, December, you can't come back until January 3rd. When you come back, you need to make sure you're good. And I said, okay. So I took leave as of October 26th. And I picked myself up and I moved to Florida and lived in a motel because my aunt, her immune system was just so weak. I couldn't stay in the same house as her. So I needed to get as close to her as I possibly could without compromising the environment that she was in. So, I mean, it's just me, remember? I financially need to figure out how I'm going to afford to live in a different country for a month. So I lived in a motel. And I remember going to see my aunt, and she ended up in the hospital. So she was at home for a first little bit. And then as things progressed, she ended up in the hospital. And I remember going to see my aunt and her being on her deathbed and still being concerned about me, worrying about me. Was I okay? And I'm like, lady, I love you and thank you for always taking care of me. But if there's a time you're allowed to be selfish, I think this is it. You're on your deathbed. And so I remember one of the days getting ready to leave the hospital, go back to the motel. And I asked my aunt, is there anything that you want? Because that was a game that we used to play. Anything that I wanted, anything that I would dream of, anything that I would conceive, we would try to figure out a way to make it happen. That was my aunt. She was about having fun. She was about making dreams come true. She was about doing the impossible. That was my aunt. So one of the days as I was leaving the hospital, I said, you know, it's Auntie Sylvia, is there anything that you need? Anything that you want? I meant like food. Like, you want me to bring you a Frosty? You want some fruit? Like, that's what I meant, right? Because earlier on in the month, um, what is it that she wanted? Gosh, there was something, I can't even remember what it was. There was something in particular. She used to go on road trips, and there was a particular item. I can't even remember what it is right now, but we had it shipped. I had it shipped for her because, like, anything my aunt wants right now, anything. I will make it happen. But I wasn't prepared for what it is that she asked for this time. This time, she asked for a genuine smile. She wanted me to genuinely be happy. Lady, are you serious? I asked you what it is you wanted me to bring you tomorrow, and you're telling you want to see me genuinely happy? And remember, my aunt and I have had a special relationship from birth. If there's anybody that knows me, it's my aunt. So she knows what a real smile looks like. And I was like, how do you expect me to whip this up in 24 hours? I am down here watching pretty much my best friend take her last breath. You want me to come back to the hospital tomorrow with a genuine smile? Lady, that I need to figure it out. Because if I had asked that for my aunt, she would have figured it out. So I was like, all right, what is it going to take? Sorry, but a genuine smile on my face. So I created this whole world for myself. I literally went home and said, what is it going to take to make yourself happy? What is it going to take to bring joy to your life like as quickly as possible, but genuine joy? I knew music was going to play a big part in that. I knew something relaxing and tranquil like yoga was going to play a big part in that. The foods that I was eating. So I created this whole world the following day. I got up and I knew exactly what I was doing, from eating fresh fruits in the morning, fruits that I love, spending relaxing time, just doing whatever it took to make myself happy. So when I went back to the hospital, I had a genuine smile on my face, and I did. So I continued to do this day in and day out. That's kind of what jump started this living my best life lifestyle. But remember, work said to me, you have to come back January 3rd. And I had to be good, because I knew at this point I was messing with my livelihood if I wasn't. I am the sole person that was taking care of my home. So if I was messing with my livelihood, I'm jeopardizing my salary. I'm jeopardizing being able to take care of myself. So if I have to go back to work January 3rd, and I'm in Florida watching my aunt on her deathbed in November, there's going to have to be some sort of damage control that happens in between for me to be able to process and have that time away to process what's happening. Most people know when you go away on vacation, it's not really relaxing. By the time you go away on vacation for a week, you unpack your stuff, you settle in for a second, it's time to pack again. So I knew a week was not going to be enough to mentally get myself prepared to go back to work January 3rd. So I said to myself, okay, if a week is not okay, what about 2 weeks? Is 2 weeks enough? And I said, I think so. But at that point, remember, I can't play with my livelihood. I needed to be sure. And I said, what about a month? I said, I think a month away, 30 days away is more than enough to be able to take care of yourself and be okay. But if I'm saying I need 30 days to mentally take care of myself, 30 days before January 3rd is what? December 3rd. What happens if my aunt is still alive December 3rd? Are you leaving? Are you walking away from her? You know her birthday is December 15th. You're not going to wait till her birthday? You know Christmas is December 25th. You're not going to wait till Christmas? This could be her last Christmas and her last birthday. You're not going to stick around? And see, one side of me said, you need to. The other side of me said, if you stay till the 15th, you don't know how you're going to be January 3rd, and there's nobody around to help you. So, December 3rd is when you need to go. So, does this mean that I'm actually going to say goodbye to my aunt that is on her deathbed while she's still alive? Like, we're not waiting to the last minute? No. If you're going to take care of you, you need to go and have a conversation with your aunt and say goodbye. So I did. We had a girls' night in, like we did when I was younger. She said a lot of things that she wanted to say. And I said a lot of things that I wanted to say. And then I said goodbye. She passed 6 days later. So the month of December, right off the bat, December 3rd, a hard day for me. And I picked up on December 3rd and came to the Dominican Republic. I needed to go where I knew I would be okay and taken care of. It's almost like therapy being here for me. And so I lived here for the month of December. That's when I knew this is where I needed to be that month. Now fast forward, remember I said December 15th, that's her birthday. Then there's December 23rd. It's the anniversary of my grandmother's passing. Then you have December 25th, which is Christmas. And it's just a reminder of the big family dinners that we used to have. Those people aren't around anymore. And then December 26th, today, it's my dad's birthday. And like, birthdays? Birthdays were important in our house. There. Today's the day that my dad would have a huge party at the house. There'd be music, there'd be food, there'd be people, there'd be games, there'd be cards, it would just be lively in the house. Nobody teaches you how to deal with grief. And if you haven't had to deal with it, I don't know if I can say you're lucky. Because in that video earlier today, it talks about this grief, this pain sits so hard because you know you had somebody who loved you that hard and that you loved that hard. I hope you're privileged to have people in your life that love you and that you love. But when you lose them, expected or unexpected, old or young, healthy or unhealthy, when you lose them, it hurt. Not having a mom or dad around to ask, I'm still a new wife. I could use some guidance or some training. Who am I asking? My grandparents are gone. My parents are gone. Who am I asking? But you know what? I realize that sticking to myself and keeping everything inside, it's not healthy. I broke in my husband's arms this morning. Broke. I wailed. I didn't cry. I wailed. And I let it out. And as I'm learning, that's the most important part because I think keeping it in just kills you. It silently eats at you. So if there's somebody that you're missing and you're just dealing with it alone, I encourage you to find somebody. somebody you love, somebody you trust. Sorry, somebody qualified, ideally, to help you through this. Because this isn't just something that you deal with at the time of. This is something that magnifies over the years. It gets harder and harder, and you miss them more and more. So I initially was going to tap out today. That's the post that I put up. I'm tapping out because that was my go-to. I would isolate and deal with it myself. Today I decided to let it out. And I actually feel better. I made a decision December 2021 that literally changed the way that I live my life. It changed the country where I live my life. It changed how I make decisions. It changed a lot. So I am committed to living my best life, whatever that looks like for me. That shoe might not fit you, but it's not made for you, it's made for me. And I think living my best life wholeheartedly requires me to speak up more and to let it out more. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and season's greetings. I hope you're spending time with those that you love and that love you. And I hope you don't take anybody or any day that you were granted for granted.